The crowd looks a little thinner. How many of you were at the party last night? Let me see your hands. Good. Good. How many of you woke up fresh, excited, and ready to optimize pages together? You can lie. It's all right. It's Vegas. Good. How many of you in this group have already had one of the training programs from McLabs, the University of Florida, even the 8-hour certification courses? Let me see your hands. Like some of you did email. It's important because I'm looking at the audience that's going to be helping me today. Anybody here have the landing page or website optimization certification? Let me see your hands. There? Good. So much of what we're going to use in terms of methodology will connect to what's going to happen right now. And I think that my staff needs to bring me a clicker. It's going to be hard for me to do this. I've been studying neuroscience. If we all concentrate really hard on that slide. There we go. All right. So I have one slide to talk to you about, maybe 2 slides, and we're going to go right to pages that have been submitted. I have not seen these pages. They're in a deck, and they have been submitted by you for live optimization. We're going to put you to work this morning, okay? And we're going to work together to try and find answers. So take a look at this. How many in here are familiar with the conversion heuristic? If you're not, there's resources everywhere at MarketingSherpa, McLabs, where you can read and understand this. This was a heuristic that was developed from patterning behavior across 20,000 plus path tests and experiments. With the patterning of behavior, we realized that the probability of conversion is equal to 4, as in the coefficient 4, as in its relative significance to V, the clarity of the value, as it is to 2 incentive, which is a positive, minus friction, which is a negative, and minus anxiety. Now, you might find, when you look at that, various questions, but I've never seen a page where if you thoroughly think through this process, you can't see. And the goal of the heuristic is not to help you see better. The goal of the heuristic is to help you see with new eyes. The heuristic is like a lens that you put on your eyes, and it allows you to see the creative through the eyes of the customer. It's important that you know this because we're going to be using this heuristic in just a moment, and I want to share with you further. You'll notice there is green on the positive side of the equation. How many of you in email course remember the fulcrum? Remember the fulcrum? So imagine in the fulcrum, the green represents the positive side of that equation, and the red represents the negative side of that equation. And what did I just put up here? Well, I like to take a page and start with the negatives, i.e. friction and anxiety. Technically, this is psychological resistance and psychological concern. Someone might say, but why? Aren't those the same? No. And now here's why. You don't correct resistance the same way you do concern. You don't correct friction the same way you do anxiety. I learned this the hard way. I thought they were the same. But how many of you have a friend who, no matter what you say to them, and they're very anxious about something, just telling them something rational doesn't make the fear and the anxiety go away? You know what I'm talking about? All right, so the point is that you can correct friction very rationally. If there's difficulty, if you remove a form field, if there's length and difficulty, 2 times the friction. And you can take those 2 types of friction and correct them, and the friction, goes down. But you can't do that with anxiety. You have to overcorrect it. And we'll teach that tomorrow. What I want you to understand is then that we're going to find a protocol. It's very important you understand the protocol because we're getting ready to look at a page together. And all I'm going to ask you to do in your team is start with the negatives on the right side, friction and anxiety, and I want you to think about how you're going to correct it, because there's only 3 things you can do. This is sort of physics and philosophy combined. There's only 3 things you can do to solve for that problem. You look at the page, and you can either add an element, remove an element, or change an element. You can't do anything else. But the clarity of that means that you should, in your team, be able to come together and look and say, wait a second, all right, so on the negative sides, what can I do about friction and anxiety. Where is it on this page? And the answer is I'm going to add something, remove something, or going to change something. That's it. All right? Does that make sense to everybody? Do you have any questions yet? I'm just going to pause and give us a chance to rest a little bit. About 20 minutes, I'll wake you up and we'll start again. Let's break up into groups in just a moment, but we're going to take a page and let me just see. Is that it? All right. We're going to take this page, and are we going to switch to the web or use the which back and forth? No, do it live. This is a website. Okay, good. All right, so there it is. It's scrolling down, and you can look at this page and ask yourself, what can you do to remove the negatives? You're going to add, remove, or change, okay? But to do that, you're going to work in a group. You're going to give me back your information, and what we're going to do is the faster. This is not going to be like my first session. This is going to be high speed, okay? The first one was very relaxed and simple. This one's going to be high speed. So I'm going to put you in a room together right now and give you 3 minutes to find the negatives and figure out what you would add, remove, and change. Now, you do need to be in a group of at least 3, so some of us are going to have to stand up, move, and get to be with other people. So let's all just sort of stand up, move around. The clock starts now. Get with a group and begin. We're going to move very fast to think about this. Is there anybody in this room that submitted this email? Did anybody in the room submit this email? Am I seeing a hand somewhere? Right here. All right. Let's get a microphone over to that person. So what's the objective of the email?
I actually didn't submit this. My coworker did, and she is in the coaching clinic, so it's really funny that I have to answer these questions. Thank you, Megan. This email is going to high school football coaches across the U.S., and this is a program we do in the fall with St. Jude for obviously touchdowns against cancer. So they get their fans to pledge money for every touchdown their team scores, which we give back to St. Jude. Good.
And what is your name?
Lindsay Ray.
Lindsay Wright. All right.
Ray, yeah.
Ray.
Ray.
Ray. All right. So this is Lindsay. We're going to help Lindsay. I'm going to ask a question. Lindsay, did you personally write this email? And the answer is no.
No.
Good. All right. It's very important. All right. So now, I need you, as I point to your group, to rapidly tell me one thing you would do to change this email. If that item's already been said, you tell me something new if you have something new. All right. And we got to go fast because we got a lot of, how many want to get through a lot of pages practicing this together? We'll get more learning from that and we'll help more people that are here. All right, so right there, what's one change you would make? Oh, I see there's a volunteer right behind you. You're on the same team? So anybody from your team, tell us, what change would you make to this page? What's the first one you do?
So the remove would be removing the snippet text from when the email's open, specifically read that in the inbox.
Remove the snippet text, which is on the top, all right. Okay? All right. Good. Somebody else then. Right here.
We said that we would remove sign your team up at that bar, and we would put like a status bar up to the goal 100,000.
They would remove, I think it's going to be faster if I do it this way. So they would remove that sign up your team at touchdowns, and they'd put a status bar showing how far away you were. All right? Somebody else. Right over here. Anywhere in this table. Excellent idea. What else? In the email? Okay. Okay. Somebody else? Yes. Here's how it works. Remove that to a landing page. Okay. Good. Interesting. What's the goal of an email, everybody? What is it? To get a click. We don't sell anything in the email. Typically, they can't buy it from the email. They have to go somewhere to purchase it. And typically in the browser, the image that you see is not the best place or the best location to present the entire offer. And by the way, if they're sold in the email, then why are you selling them again on the landing page? The reality is we're selling the wrong things in 80% of the emails that we send. My job is to get you to click. We spoke about this 2 days ago, and the importance of creating suspense and using suspense to leverage them with buying momentum into the next side. Somebody else, what's one more thing we would do? Say it again. Hyperlinks should tell you what you're doing. All right, let's unpack the email. Let's look for, first of all, psychological resistance or anxiety. All we've done are the negatives. Are you ready? This is going to be fast. At the top of the page, we have an image beneath the text, and we have a lot of individual elements in a confusing layout that does not communicate to me clearly what this is about. The first thing I would do is bring clarity. If you don't get the first 4 inches right, the rest doesn't matter. Because in the first 4 inches, you have to win the micro yes, and the micro yes is essential. There will be at least 3 to 6 micro yeses. The first one is, am I going to pay attention to this at all? Capturing attention is the first thing. I don't care if you're talking about a landing page or an email. I don't care if you're talking about the subject lines. It still comes down to headline, subject line, and what they see in that browser is all about capturing attention and converting it to interest. What we have up here is too much going on. It's difficult to understand. I don't know what partner email means. I see different brands, St. Jude's, Max Preps, touchdowns against cancer, a child's face, fans pledge, team score, kids beat cancer. That still doesn't tell me what's going on. Does it make sense to everybody? So we may fail in the first few inches of this and never get to the main message, but let's assume we do, so let's scroll down. What is the goal of an email, everyone? All right, now I know, I heard you last night. There's a rumor that I was dancing on the dance floor. That is not true. If you heard that, it's completely denial. The other thing is, there's a lot of ways to learn marketing. At MarketingSherpa, we take things to the next level. We always go to the party. Did you notice all the photographers? And we get compromising footage of people. And it's a whole technique that, you send it out, just a snippet, and you let people know that if they don't come back to the next summit, you're going to dump this on the internet. All right, so I need you to say nice and loud like you did at the party last night. What's the goal of an email? That was like the 4 in the morning version of that, all right? I need the 12 midnight version. I said in the class, decibels matter. We've learned from neuroscience that they aid recall and they help lay a track in the brain. So I'm going to say one more time. What's the goal of an email? Get a click. All right, now here we are with this click, and let's just move down to the first paragraph. I'm just going to optimize that, and I'm going to leave the email and move on. However, I will tell you that if, Lindsay, we can help you get this email right, talk to some of our team leaders here, either at this event, which would be best, but if you need to contact us afterwards, we'll help you think through the whole piece just to give you some help. And if you can measure it, we'll even help you set up a test, okay? So let me just look at this for a second. First paragraph, the first sentence should be point first, not point last, not point middle. What does that mean? Well, the main delivery of the point should begin at the beginning of the sentence. The other way you do a sentence is you build towards the climax. But when people are in a hurry, you need to put the climax on the front side and then bull them in. Too many times, we bury the most important piece in the center. Now let's scan the email for meaning, thinking about this through customer eyes, because the conversion heuristic applies to sentences. Let's start with the first word, last. Is that a good start? No. Last September. Who in here even remembers what you were doing last September? I understand what the story they're wanting to tell, but you're telling me the story before I'm interested in it. In fact, you're probably telling me things that I should learn on the landing page. Last September, now, I want you to raise your hand when you immediately understand what this is about, when you understand that it was appropriately written to you. Did you hear that? Not some spam sent to but to you. If you're a high school football coach, you should recognize immediately this is for high school football coaches. It has to be intensely relevant. And it has to start making meaning, and then it has to have story click where I get what this is about. And then it's got to draw you in with its own value proposition. So let's look at it. Raise your hand when you hear it. Last. Look around the room, Lindsay. September. High school football teams across the country team together. Anybody get anything yet? You've lost your audience already. I mean, we can see this in study after study after study. You're going to get the most motivated because that's what the 4 in front of M stands for, motivation. It's the highest factor against conversion. That's why people put up with lots of difficult things in our site. That's why we don't understand how bad our site really is, because we're getting sales from the most motivated people, but as motivation diminishes, we're losing them. So, last September, high school football teams across the country teamed together to raise over $100,000 in the first ever Touchdowns Against Cancer program. I still don't understand if this is relevant to me. I don't know if you're sending it to me or to students. Or maybe you're sending it to college football. Even though you're talking about high school football, what is it to me? I could send that same message to a parent. Today, we're excited. We don't care that you're excited. Your job is to get us excited. And I am now 3 lines in, and that's if I stuck with this, and you're telling me you're excited. Well, the 2 most important words to challenge all your marketing with are these. And we're going to say this together, all right? This is worth remembering because you should challenge everything you write with these 2 words. So what? If you can't overcome the so what factor, it's not ready yet. And frankly, customers are so jaded, sometimes they put very colorful expletives between the so and the what. So sign up now. In honor of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, I still don't know what this is about. Every touchdown your team scores from September 14th to 30th can help save a child's life. I'm almost getting there now. Something's starting to happen. I still don't fully understand what this is about. And maybe, Lindsay, some of these are familiar with the program, but we can't assume that all of them are. We can't assume that they really connect with the message or that they're motivated enough to carefully parse its meaning. It's too much work to get to the meaning. Do you all see that? So the point in all we're doing in Live Op is not just to help Lindsay, but it's to discover transferable principles that you can apply in your own context. So keep looking for those. We've listed several point-first sentences. We've said it's important to get the first 2 inches right. We said that a headline has to capture attention and convert it to interest. We said that a sentence, as it develops, needs to start with relevance to me in email particularly, because that's the only reason we give it any attention. If I knew coaches that participated in the program last year, this email would not be sent to them. I'd send them a very specific message because we know they participated in the program, and we would recognize that right away in the first sentence. And in doing so, we would tell them both why we're sending this message, and we would give them much more motivation to get involved, to listen. Now, I just want to stop with one more thing, and we could learn everything I want to teach in if I had a year with you, looking at just the button. Sign up for touchdowns. First of all, how many of you woke up this morning and said, you know, Vegas was great last night. It was amazing. The MarketingSherpa party was good. But I just can't wait this morning to sign up for something. Does anybody want to sign up? That is not point first. Do you understand that? It's a negative to start with. And you don't want me to sign up. You want me to go to the landing page. You're asking me too soon in the sequence of micro yeses to make a commitment that I'm not ready for. I observed last night, and you know who I'm talking to, but I'm not going to say your name, and I'm not going to look in your direction. I observed a woman standing at the bar and a man talking to her who got the sequence of micro yeses wrong. And wasn't really hearing the micro no's, all right? So, and you might say, well, that's, how does that, this is all this. This is not marketing. This is building trust in a relationship. If you dehumanize marketing, you destroy its essence. All right, so we're going to move to a new page. There's more we can do, but does this all make sense for you? So sign up is wrong. For Touchdowns Against Cancer 2017 isn't clear enough yet because we don't understand the program. And indeed, that button should drive me to a place where I can learn more, which is a less of a commitment. Make sense, everybody? All right, then I need you to get all of you to stand up on your feet. Stand up for just a moment. All right? As you stand up, we're going to shift to the next page, John. And it's important that you do this. I've looked around the room and I can see that some of you would benefit from personal optimization. And I'm going to ask you to just move down the aisle, shake hands with somebody you have not sat with or talked to, and pick the person first that you think needs the most optimization help. Besides me, all right? Go. Go ahead, do it for a moment. Yes. We now need to do, and this is the way we got to work together in our limited time. We've got a crescendo at high speed. That was the slowest version of optimization that we get to experience together. So you need to rev up your engines, and we're going to go faster. All right? Very quickly, flip to the next slide. And this is a landing page, not an email, correct? And is anybody in the room who submitted this page? Yes. Yes. You notice how he held his hand up, sort of like this? First of all, I just want to say, I don't think we can improve this page. It's amazing. Go ahead.
So this is targeted to our members, and the point of it is to promote our deal of the day for our e-com. And all of these are e-com items that they can purchase online, and some of them also in store.
And this is, again, a landing page, correct?
This is an email.
This is an email. And what do you want me to do when I see this email?
I want you to purchase something.
Ooh. That sounds so compelling, but what's the problem with that? Let's say it all together. What's the goal of an email? Get a click. So I ultimately understand that, and I think that's what you mean. But the reality is we got to think what would drive the most possible clicks, the most response from this email to the page where the purchase can happen. Does that make sense, everybody? All right, so I want you all to help me optimize this for a moment. Tell me your name. It's Drew?
Drew.
Okay. And Drew, and is this your colleague? No. Just, okay. And did you personally write the email?
No.
Good. No. Drew did not write this email. You will not hurt his feelings, all right? And all we want to do is, in a lighthearted way, attack these. But it is important, and please hear me when I say this. I'm empathetic as colleagues with you, but right now my job is to be empathetic with the customer, with the prospect. And the prospect is a jaded person who doesn't want to read the 77 new marketing messages a day that they're constantly receiving, on top of all the spam in their inbox and other nonsense. How many of you found that you recently inherited a lot of money from somebody in Nigeria? All right. They're sort of tired of getting those emails. And the ones the ones I've learned to hate the most are the people that go on LinkedIn and get my name and say, "Dear Flint." And they talk to me like they're my long-lost friend. How are you going to build trust with me when you start out by lying? It's wrong. So let's look at this for a second, and I'm going to ask you to quickly give me one change that you would make. But this time, you're going to add, remove, change. And you're going to do so, excuse me. You'd have thought I was out at a party or something last night. Yeah, dancing. No, I was definitely not dancing. All right, are you ready? Let's go to the top, and as fast as we can, somebody give me a change you'd make. And remember, keep writing down transferable principles, things that you can apply in your own business, all right? What's a change? Right there, yes. There's no call to action in the top. Cool, all right. Somebody else. Remove the links across the top because they take you off the page. Well, I think there's another reason to remove them. They look like a landing page. I can't tell the difference. Don't send landing pages into the inbox. Send a message that's connected to the person that feels relational. All right, somebody else. What's another change you make? Remove the price and just leave the incentive. That's an interesting proposition. It creates suspense done right. It could hurt you done wrong, but executed right, it might drive a result. It's a good idea to test. Yes. Remove 80% of the what? 80% of the length. Okay. All right. Somebody else. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Yes, Brandon. Yes. Now, I want to get to a new page, and I'm running out of time. So I'm going to go fast with that. It's a good point. You're right, Brandon. All right? So I'm coming back here where I can see it with you, and I need to illustrate a point. Can I get you to stand up just for a moment, please? And I need somebody across the aisle. Could you stand up for a moment, please? And then I need maybe somebody looking at that page right about here. Could I get you to stand up? All right. I mean, for those of you that sat on the inside, you had to do a scientific test in the keynote. Do you remember that? Drinking Coke and then drinking Coke. And in Vegas, when I say Coke, I mean cola. All right, so I have 3 of you up, and just for an exercise, would you all start talking to me at the same time? You're laughing at me. That just makes me feel bad. All right, now hold on a second. How many of you know that when this occurs, your attention gets divided, and thus the impact of the messaging gets divided? So on the one side, it says deal of the day, but it says it in a subject instead of a predicate. It calls it something, but it doesn't help me know what I should do about the something. And on the opposite side of the page, you're the deal of the day, and you are BJ's, which is the brand, but the brand is in the same color as the deal of the day. It has a check just like that, and it feels like I have to understand both, that they're tightly connected. It's also on the wrong side of the page from where I expect a brand. And in the back, you see that 929? That's you, Lana, and I knew your name. I knew it instantly because your name tag's facing me. And all right. So do we have a problem here? Yes, we have 3 messages coming in a disjointed way. They do not flow in a vertical sequence, and they're further obscured by the big imagery underneath it. So I can read the top of that, but I have to make an extra step of meaning. Like, if you're going to leave the long email, and it may or may not need to be tested, it might perform, but you need to tell me that you can scan this email quickly to discover 47 amazing opportunities to do X. Do you follow me? Nobody's talking to me. You're just talking at me. That's the most important. You can sit down. Can we give them a hand, please? It may not seem hard to stand up, but if you weren't at the party last night, you'd understand. That was very hard work for these ladies. All right, so what do we learn from this? Do not talk at them, talk to them. All right, let's move to another page. Quickly. All right, so this is a landing page? And what are we going to do, raise money? And what group is this? Well, who is it? All right, do we have the person?
Yeah,
all right, so is this what business is this?
It's public broadcasting.
Public broadcasting.
Yeah.
All right. Believe me, if I don't know those call letters or don't instantly connect them, I'm not even sure who it is yet. All right. So hold on for a second. And what is the objective of the page?
To convert them to donors.
Good. All right. Interesting. All right. And what is your name?
Frank.
Fred?
Frank.
Frank. We'll call him Jim now. That way, if we don't like the page, it doesn't accrue.
Works for me.
No. Thank you, Frank. Right?
Yes.
All right. So let's look at the page together. Somebody very quickly from the far side over there. What change would you make? Yell it out. Don't what? All right. Don't thank them before they donated. Well, that's called getting the sequence of thought out of order. All right. Now, you might be thanking them for getting to the page, but we're assuming they're going to donate, right? All right, what else? Somebody else way over here. Yell out something. What's the impact? Bigger impact. All right, bigger impact could refer to a head-on collision. There's no particular meaning associated with the word, and it is not, listen, that is a title. That is not a headline. And believe me, we have worked in the lab on hundreds of these donation pages. And in this audience are some very, very big not-for-profits that we've done experiments with. And so when I speak of this, I'm referencing in my mind all those experiments. But I'm looking for friction and anxiety, and the first sort of friction comes from the fact that you're not talking to me. What are you doing? You're talking at me. The first thing I see is bigger impact. That doesn't make enough meaning. You need a statement, a complete thought at the top of the page that captures my attention and converts it to interest. And what did we talk about in the pre-note? In the keynote from the start of this conference, what do we talk about value and say this is a common problem? Do people always immediately associate true value? No. What we're working here is what? He said it, perceived value. Everybody say that with me. Perceived value. Now, I'm going to tell you the number one mistake. By the way, that was really bad. We got to do that again. Let's say it together. Perceived value. Now, here's the thing. Where is the value proposition associated with this gift? We talked about something very dangerous. I only said the word one time. And I said it in the keynote. It's called presumed value. Can everybody understand that this is presumed value? We assume that what they saw in the channel or somewhere else makes them fully ready to do this. But if that's the case, your conversion rate would be nearly 100%. And I'm assuming it's a little bit lower than that. So if that's the case, what do we need to do first? And this is now looking on that green, the value side, the clarity of the value proposition. First, you need to communicate with me the value, and it should answer this question. Why should I give here rather than to all those other things in my inbox asking me to give? There's so many places looking for money. What is it about you that makes this the best choice for my money? And it has to be on this page, and I've tested this over and over again. And you can't even start to communicate that if you're talking in subjects, not predicates. You know, remember sentence structure? There's a subject and a predicate. You can have an assumed subject, that's okay, if it's clear. But you can't have a headline without a predicate. Bigger impact is just words slung at me, not communicating. Everybody following this? Does this make sense to you? All right, now, Frank, we're not trying to beat you up. We're just trying to figure out how to get more value. And if you'll connect with our team afterwards, we've figured out there's 17 possible donation forms. We've tested every variation inside and out. And on those 17, we know which one is most appropriate. We build algorithms around that. So we can talk about, how that can work. But here's the thing that I would say first of all. We can't fix the entire piece. You should be testing the gift numbers that we have there. Thank you for choosing to donate is, again, presumed value, no message. And I could spend more time unpacking the page, but I would say to you the most important thing you can use as a takeaway is what needs to be on this page that's missing. Somebody tell me. Yes, but the main thing, the number one thing we've said, value proposition. Everybody, it's funny that it's so easy for us to miss this. Let's say it again. The value proposition. Now, if the value proposition is on this page, it would require that the headline be a complete thought. Does that make sense to everyone? That's the transferable principle. Let's go to another one. I'm running low on time. Are you connecting with what we're saying right now? Good. Let's move swiftly. All right. I'm running out of time. Should we do group activities or I just slam through the pages? Okay, let's do it. And I'm very candidly, I don't believe in optimizing your presentation. I believe you let your audience optimize you. I believe that the speaker's greatest gift is not their voice, it's their ears. So I am looking at you. That's why I'm down here. I'm looking in your eyes to see comprehension, to see that you're connecting, to get feedback that will tell me how fast, how slow to go. All right? And I'm watching that. Don't let me miss the cues. Let's look at this page. Sell more, manage less. The first problem with that is it's not really a meaningful statement. I don't know what I'm selling more of, and I don't know what I'm managing less of. And then it says automatically upload products, sync inventory, and route orders. But inventory source is way up high, my eyes go immediately to the headline and the blue button, and I don't even see who this is at the top if I'm not careful because of banner blindness. That at the top could be somebody else's banner on my page, and the image is so colorful against a white background that it draws all your attention down beneath the message. And so I sell more, manage less, and then it says, get started free. Somebody tell me what's wrong with that. Okay, I'm going to illustrate this one more time. Do not, please, go on Twitter and say that I'm being, I'm not trying to be offensive, okay? But get started free would be like me walking up to this young lady and saying, hi. I can't even say that, okay? I'll get in trouble. You figure it out, all right? Because they aren't ready to get started yet. I mean, you give me 2 lines and tell me to start. It doesn't go down that way. You need a series of micro yeses. We're missing them. I might want to learn more, but I haven't even seen enough to make me curious because that messaging could apply to many sites all over the internet. There's no value proposition whatsoever. I don't have a single reason why I would work with you rather than anyone else. It's not clear. I don't understand. I'm working too hard. I get to a blue button that says get started free. Get started, and I'm still not sure what that is. Do you see all those names below there? Nobody sees 20-plus integrations in tiny text beneath that list because the brands draw the eyes. 5 things order your attention on a site. You want to learn them quickly? Size, color, shape, motion, and position. Size, color, shape, motion, and position. Those 5 elements determine what I see first because of their relative impact to each other. Something really big, something really colorful on a page that isn't colorful, all of those things draw your eyes. And we can heat map this before we put a heat map on it, just looking at the way the page is laid out. And my eyes go down there, and what am I going to sell? Am I selling eBay? Or Amazon? Or Shopify? What does that mean? So, if you're looking at this carefully, I want to move on, but are some of you seeing the key transferable principles that you can do here? Yes? Nod your heads at me or I'm just going to stay on this page and go for hours. All right, so you don't want to simply speak at me, speak to me, and do so very meaningfully and include the value proposition, and don't get the micro yeses out of order. Don't ask me to do something before I'm ready, because when you do that, you'll get the same answer that some of you got last night. No. Okay? So let's move on. FlexChat. All right? Interesting. So what's the number 1 challenge with this page? And let me check my time. I think this will be the last one. Yes, definitely. All right. Let's work on this page. We got something else coming on, but I need you to get super active with your brain. What do we have at the top of this page? Is this an email, by the way? Where's the FlexChat people? I know they're here. I met you.
It's an email.
It's an email. All right. And where?
I'm back here.
In the back. The voice of God I hear over here. Oh, there he is. All right, good. So it's an email. So let's start with the top of the message. What is it saying? Saying who I am. Does that matter to me yet? Not unless I'm highly motivated to possibly work with FlexChat. Having spent the week in Vegas, many of you can take FlexChat home. Do a deal with this man in the back, and you can ride home in your private jet. Then it says impeccable style, unmatched service. You won't just be flown, you'll be moved. I don't know if I want to be flown or moved. I have to I'm not sure that the meaning of that, and white on gray starts with friction automatically. Too much space is taken up for the image. Yes, we want to see that it's a jet, but we don't need to use half the page to see that it's a jet. Introducing the Challenger 350. Why should I care about the 350 over everything else? Why is that going to motivate and appeal to my entire audience? Unless you're sending this message to everybody who's only interested in the Challenger 350, and if they can't get that anywhere else, it might be a compelling message. But even then, introducing the Challenger 350 is marketing speak. Who talks that way? Introducing an eligible bachelor. I'm not, but an eligible bachelor. It's not a conversation. It doesn't connect meaning. Introducing the challenge of 350, request a private demonstration. Now I've gone from subjects and declaration to an imperative sentence. Do this. Do you understand the problem with this? We're not building relationships. Email is a relational medium. Speak to me. Tell me why I'm getting the message. Write something that feels more like customer service than it does marketing. Help me understand where I'm at and why that's important. Get the value proposition clear. But remember something. The only thing you need to do is get me to the landing page. And what's wrong with this email? It is the landing page. I mean, I can call so-and-so, so I have no reason to click. I gotta absorb everything I need to know here to make that commitment now. And most people are gonna wanna know more. Wouldn't you expect to know a little bit more if you might be considering some sort of arrangement with a private jet? Now, I know that people want to talk to somebody, but you gotta make me want to talk to somebody first. And there's not enough content to make me want to. Now, why does it still work sometimes? Because the brand, people know FlexJet. People have been thinking about it in the past. Those people, the motivated people, you'll get with this email. But the ones you lose are all those with diminishing levels of motivation. All right, audience. I'm going to ask for the Professor Weigold to come up here for just a moment. Is this helping you? Let me see your hands. What's the most important thing you're taking away from this? Right here, Warren. Being clear about what you want the person to do when they view the email. What else? Most important thing you're taking away? Somebody, yes. Add value. And remember, you can only do 3 things. What are they, everyone? Add, remove. You got it. Come on, I can't end that bad. I'll go away with inferiority complex. Let's say it all together now. Add. That was a little better. You know, there's a study we can do about this, but I think you'll find that on the first day of Vegas, people can do that synchronized. After that, it gets a little hard. All right, so let's say it together. Add, remove, change. What's the most important thing you've learned? Somebody here. Oh, that's so good. Talk to someone like they're a person and not a target or a lead. Somebody else. What's the most important thing you guys learned? Anything? Testing's important. All right, I'll take it. One more, back over here. Yes. Always ask, so what? Challenge everything you write with that message. If you can't overcome it, if you can't get a good way to beat that, you'll never be able to really penetrate the mind as well as you need to do so.